podcast of the ARC Southern Maryland. I'm Rita Rich, producer, narrator, teacher, co-host. It's our year-end roundup, 2024, now. Just some of the conversations and sounds and voices in no particular order of our clients, staff, and guests during our podcasting classes, and from our final productions.
How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing good. How are you? Are you recording?
Yep, that's okay. You're allowed to be nice to people on the recording.
This girl's on fire.
This girl is on fire.
Yeah.
This girl is on fire. I don't know all the words.
Come on.
Sometimes you'll have to remember the words for me.
Yes, I do. I like you, my friend. I like you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
First of all, in music, I believe that anyone can be everyone they want to be, and no matter what happens, you can always be a good singer, a good songwriter. You can basically use anything from your experience to turn your life into songs or something amazing or spectacular, really darn cool and awesome sauceum.
Awesome sauceum. You know, before I let you go, because I know you're probably getting tired standing around with me like this. And,
No. I am okay. I'm all right with it. I am tolerant with it, and I'm accepting of it.
Words that any teacher in any capacity of any student can live by. If you ever have worked with or had a relationship with individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities or severe physical disabilities that affect how they communicate, we invite you to listen to the background music created by Miss Ray's students and see if you can relate to her story. Annandale High School's Annie Ray, the orchestra director and performing arts department chair, won a Grammy Award as Best Music Teacher 2024 for her work creating the Crescendo Orchestra. As a teacher to a teacher, when you first started doing this, did you find yourself absolutely exhausted after the first week?
It's funny because there are times I'm very exhausted, but the more that the kids get something, it's like an energy shot to me. And when I have a good rehearsal, like a one where the kids are really invested and they're eating out of the palm of my hand, I suddenly get all even more excited. And so my students think that I have this great, I hope none of them are listening to this, but they all think I have this great coffee addiction or caffeine addiction. And it stemmed because yes, I do love a good cup of coffee, but it's actually them where I'm they'll connect something or someone will laugh all of a sudden over making a mistake. I'm yes, that's great. Celebrate that mistake. Okay, what are we going to do next with it? And moving from there. And there's sometimes, yes, definitely. I'm a mother of a 2.5-year-old and a 7-month-old. And I come home and I'm just wiped. But it's also this thing where wow, being a teacher makes me a better mother. And being a mother makes me a better teacher. And it's this energy feedback loop. Are there times where I'm just completely drained and exhausted? 100%. Yeah, there are those times. And there's something really beautiful about owning that in front of the kids. And I walked up on the podium today and I said, just a heads up, I don't feel good today. I don't feel great. And I'm just excited to be here and make some music with you. And it's gonna be a low energy rehearsal, but gosh, what does it teach the kids to just show up? Keep showing up. I'm just going to keep showing up and being there for you. So from a teacher to a teacher, am I tired? Yes. There's nothing tired like teacher tired. But it's the kids. It's the kids. They just give me all the energy I need.
Jennifer Bobbitt. My business is called Kids Communicating, and I'm out of Calvert County.
There are several reasons why finding a way to communicate with our nonverbal friends is a good idea, and I talked with Jennifer about them. Parents know the value of drawing out words from their children.
They want their kid to communicate with them so they can understand them and they can decrease their frustration. I think teachers, educators, anybody in a school system, in an institution like ARC, anybody who works with other people's children or learners that have developmental disabilities, what can they gain from it is this is what I see in the school system. I see teachers who are frustrated because the kids are frustrated. When the kids are frustrated and they don't know how to communicate, then the educators get frustrated. And then coming to work is frustrating. And then it's a battle over, like, we have to teach them these educational goals, but yet they're so frustrated they can't communicate their wants and needs. Where's the middle ground? So getting in a classroom and teaching educators the value of manding for items they want, manding for a break, manding for information, manding for attention. When you put all that in, all of a sudden you see this like very different vibe in the classroom. People are happier. The teacher is less frustrated because the child is communicating more. Therefore, they can get those needs met easier because the child is communicating.
Manding is a word you'll be hearing a lot. M-A-N-D-I-G. It's derived from the words demand and command. Yes, sir. And your first and last name?
Charles Anthony Kaplans.
Do you go by Chuck or are you just Charles?
Everybody calls me anything. I don't care.
Chuck Norris.
You do have a nickname.
No, not really.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Apparently, they've given you.
No, I don't have it. No, I don't.
But you prefer to be Charles?
That's fine.
I was married to a Charles. I like Charles. And with my Northeast accent, Charles. Charles. Yes.
Charles.
Oh, no. Some of us new to the experience of parenting a child with special needs or disabilities. The best resources we have are our public schools. We talked to Charles County's instructional specialist for secondary transition in the Department of Special Ed, Amber Brady, about support that is available before many of our clients reach the age of using ARC services or before they are young adults.
As soon as a student is identified as having a disability, families should be considering what that means for their student, what needs they might have, and trying to ensure that they are having opportunities for inclusion whenever possible. And that is really the mindset of the public school system and the laws that dictate how schools deliver special education services. When it comes to preparing for adulthood, which is really, as a secondary transition program, what our focus is, those services begin at the age of 14. But you can be considering plans for after high school as early as kindergarten. It is never too early to start exploring what your options are.
My name is Betty Ann Mobley, and I am the director of Maryland ABLE, a program under the direction of the State of Maryland Treasury Office. It's about taxes. So there's a difference with ABLE accounts in that when the money's in the account and it's earning interest or dividends, that is not considered taxable income. And it doesn't have taxes assessed when it comes out. So, sometimes people are familiar with that with retirement. You don't pay it going in, but you got to pay when it comes out. You don't have to pay those coming out for an ABLE account as long as you're spending it for the person with a disability on things that support health independence and quality of life.
Hey, how you doing?
This week features conversations with an outreach officer who's also a Calvert County Deputy Sheriff. Corporal Nick DeFelice visited our Calvert County Day program. It was a good time for our friends to see a uniformed officer and talk to him about what they know about those with special needs.
I grew up in Calvert County, lived in Owings for a while, and then so I was involved with various sports programs and youth activities, to do community service projects, Christmas in April, things of that nature. And then when I came back to Calvert County, I went away for school and played lacrosse and things like that. And then I came back. The Calvert County Sheriff's Office provides the opportunity to work with various community groups.
He's a good cop, though.
So have you experienced bad cops?
The
ones who don't understand you and lose patience?
That one doesn't lose patience.
See Me, See My Ability, the podcast of the ARC, Southern Maryland.
We become invisible. If for some reason society just stops seeing older people and they don't see people with disabilities the way they need to. So we do become invisible.
I'm Rita Rich. Sometimes we have experts join us in our podcasting class to get our clients who are all of legal age, that is, above the age of 18, and their family members to consider issues that our experts have witnessed throughout their careers. Meet one of those experts. Elena Solito is an attorney who specializes in elder care and has represented the interests of those in the disabled community. Can you talk to me about why you do what you do in elder care and with disabled people?
Oh my, that's a big question. And once upon a time, a long, long time ago in a land far, far away, I was actually a trade regulation attorney. I did antitrust and consumer protection issues, took some time off. And then when I came back to law after a hiatus, I discovered that elder law was just a better fit for me. It's more people-oriented, not as much money-oriented. From my experience with elder law, I branched into issues revolving disabilities.
My name is Justin Valenti, author, self-advocate, and artist.
You know, not everybody can say they're a self-advocate and also say that they've got autism. When did you realize that you were not like other people in your age group?
When I was very young, I was lining up VHS tapes and doing a lot of weird, unusual things that people who were my age weren't doing that. And so I went to see a doctor, and that's how I was diagnosed with autism, is because the doctor realized that I was different from other kids in my family, and I also realized that I was different.
Welcome to a live See Me, See My Ability podcast. This is pretty much radio, but it's not radio. It's only on the internet. We're live streaming it. We send people links to our stream on our podcasting networks and DD Day in Annapolis. Now, DD Day means developmental disabilities. Good morning to Delegate Todd Morgan and Senator Jack Bailey. We could start with our self-advocates who are our clients at the ARC. Alex, you've been here before when you were in middle school. Let me ask you to talk into this microphone and give me your name and how old you are.
38 years old, and my name is Alex Murray.
Let me just move over here. It's going to sound a little sloppy here. This is the Spring Dell Center. Christina, you can't wait to talk into the microphone.
Good morning. My name is Christina Ratcliffe. I'm from Spring Dell Center. I work at PetSmart up in Waldorf. I worked at Sage Point seniors, like a nursing home.
What did you do there?
I am an activities assistant aide there. I felt pretty good about it. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think people with disabilities can't do a lot of stuff. We want to prove to them, hey, we can do this.
This is the first of our occasional talks with parents who become professionals. Meet Calvert County, Maryland native Guy Stevens. He is the founder and executive director of a group called the Alliance Against Seclusion and Restraint.
If you went back 6 years ago, I worked for a university, was doing work actually for the Environmental Protection Agency. I had been in my job for well over 20 years and had no inclination to start a nonprofit and to kind of take my career in a very different direction. But what happened is what often happens to change things, a personal experience. I have a son who's neurodivergent. He unfortunately experienced physical restraint and seclusion in a Maryland school. Now, if you went back a number of years and mentioned to me restraint and seclusion, and you mentioned it in the context of a school, I probably would have looked at you somewhat blankly. I don't know that I would have imagined that physical restraint and seclusion were things that might be done to a child in school.
Victoria Rodriguez Roldan. She is only the second person to be appointed coordinator for state autism strategy for the Maryland Department of Disabilities. Congratulations. Have we had an autism strategist before in the state of Maryland?
Yes, unfortunately, the position didn't really thrive back then, but yes, I'm the second person.
Okay.
First one to be autistic.
See, the fact that you're stepping into something that is helping to direct strategy, people are surprised. How could you be autistic and do all that? So blast away some myths.
One of the most noxious things that can happen in disability is the assumption of incompetence. And that also goes towards an idea that I talk about a lot of the sexy versus the non-sexy disabilities, which is that when we often talk about disability, people have this stereotypical image of the photogenic white person in a wheelchair. But that leaves out what I call the non-sexy disabilities that don't make it into that pretty group picture on ADA Day in July, which is like when you start going into, for example, mental health, intellectual and developmental disabilities. In mental health in particular, we often see an attitude of why are we allowing these people out in the street? Let's be scared of them. And intellectual and developmental, it's not unlike that as well, honestly. Who gets to be the activist?
I get it. I think that we can insult people unintentionally by saying, I'm so surprised you don't seem autistic. You know how to put sentences together.
Excuse me, let me put an autism for the lady on display, yeah.
Let me find one for you. Yoo-hoo. Check out our show notes on the web or your podcast app for more information about the voices you've been listening to. Hey, and remember to look for the good stuff in people and meet them where they're at. We are all who we are, and that's our gift to each other. Please leave us a review wherever you listen to our work. Give us some stars. It's the future of media in a world on demand at your leisure, and every comment you give us helps others find our messages of understanding, hope, and fulfillment. See Me, See My Ability, the podcast from the ARC Southern Maryland. I'm Rita Rich.